Hi there, this is Art and Such with my Rainbow Loom tutorial for Nilus the Sandman. And for this pattern you're going to need some light blue, white, dark blue skin tone bands, a couple of hooks, your loom in the offset configuration, a couple of C-clips. For the eyes I'm going to be using a couple of small pearl beads with pupils drawn on using a black Sharpie marker. You can alternately use black beads or black bands, or another kind of white beads. And I'll be using dental floss to thread the beads on when we get to that point. We're going to do most of this on the loom, a little bit on the hook, and the C will be woven in after the fact. And this comes in about, I guess, about 4 parts we're going to be doing. So without further ado, let's start with our arms. We're going to take 2 skin tone bands, wrap them on the hook together 1-2 times. You can do it a 3rd time if you want it a little tighter. Pull that onto 2 skin tone bands. We're going to switch to our light blue, and we'll be needing 3 sets of double light blue bands. So this is 1, 2, and 3. Get your darker blue, and we're going to add on 5 sets of double dark blue bands. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now just before we put this on the side, make sure your top bands here at the end of the chain nice and snug here. You're going to take 2 light blue, stretch them a little bit, put it over the hand so you can see I'm still keeping this on the hook here, and twist it once and bring it back over the hand. And we're going to do this with another 2 sets of double light blue. So 2 bands together, stretch, bring it over the hand, twist, bring it back over, and we will need 1 more of these. You don't have to stretch it a lot, just enough so that it will fold over. Okay, I'm going to put this onto another hook, or you're welcome to leave it where it is. I just want you to be able to see what I'm doing here. And I'm going to make another arm the same way. And go a tiny bit faster this time. So we've done it once. 2 skin tones wrapped 1, 2, or 3 times. Hold onto double skin tone bands. Onto 3 sets of double light blue bands. And then onto 5 sets of double dark blue bands. I think one of those slipped there. There we go. Last one. And we're going to do the same thing we did for the other arm with those light blues. So take 2 blues, stretch it over, twist it around, stretch it over again. And we'll repeat that twice. So another 2, stretch, twist, stretch. Last time, stretch, over, twist, over. Okay, put this on the other hook, and let's head over to our loom. We're going to put together most of the body, and then we'll add our shoe extensions. So we're going to do the body next. I'm going to start with double white. Now you can see the beard and the cloak kind of cover this top part. So if there's another color you'd like to use just for the first couple, it's okay, it's not going to show either way. I'm going to stick with white like in my, skin tone like in my original, or white. Come down with double bounce, top center to the second center peg. Come down again in the middle, and then come down from the second center to the second right, and from the second center to the second left. Double bands each time. Now we're going to fill up all of our rows from here to the bottom with double blue bands. So take 2 blues, come from your second side peg down to your third side peg, from the third side peg to the fourth side peg, and repeat all the way. We're going to do this, like I said, for each of the rows, so I'll just take a minute here. If you're a faster loomer than me, feel free to jump ahead once you got them laid down. Otherwise, bear with me, it'll just take a couple minutes here. And if you need to pause, you can always do that if you want an extra minute yourself. Okay, and the center, we'll start with the third peg down and continue to the bottom. And I'll tell you again, most of this part isn't going to show too much from the front. So if you're trying to save blue bands, you can use maybe a clear color or some leftovers of another color if that's easier for you. I like that you can turn to the back and see all the same color, though I think it looks a little bit neater, even if it isn't immediately apparent. And the opposite side, we're going to come down again. More to go here. You can put your arms now onto your second pegs down on either side. Transfer the bands off your hook, make sure you get them all. Rotate your loom and place on the opposite side. We're going to put our holding bands down. We're just using single triangle bands, also dark blue to match our sides. So go across with the single blue, your dark blue, your third pegs down on each of the rows. You're going to make a little triangle, and we're going to repeat that for every set below until the bottom of the loom. This part's pretty straightforward. This is one of our easier sections here. Got one stuck, an extra one stuck there. More. Okay, we're going to put 2 blue bands, dark blue, across the bottommost pegs. Use your hook to pull it over the bottommost peg in the center. And then we can make our shoes and our little side extension. I'm going to check that that's everything that we'll need for the body, and that looks good. So for our shoes, we're going to light blue. You can adjust the number if you want it to be shorter or longer. I'm going to be taking a single light blue, wrapping it 1, 2, 3 times on the hook, and I'm going to pull it onto 5 doubled over singles. So here's the first one. And second one, you stretch it, twist it, bring it onto itself. Put it on the end, slide it over. So that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. You might only want 4, that's okay too. I'm going to put this onto 2 dark blue bands. And then at the end of the hook, I'm going to wrap on another dark blue 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and bring that first piece with the shoe on it so that it's over the wrapped band, and the wrapped band will sit in the middle. This is going to go onto 3 sets of double blue bands. So here we have double blue bands. Pull the piece off of your hook and onto those two. I'm gonna try and even that out a little bit, center it. And then we need 2 more sets of double blue dark bands. So here's 1, and here's 2. This is going to go onto your 3rd peg from the bottom of the loom. And what we want to do is grab a piece out of the next chain here and bring it over the peg below. Okay, like so. And then this next chain is going to be opened up, and we're going to put that onto the bottommost peg on the side. And then we'll make one of these for the opposite side and go a little faster. We go light blue, 1, 2, 3, 4 to 5 doubled over single bands. So this is our first doubled over single. Second. Third. Fourth. And 5th. Put that onto your 2 dark blue. Grab a single to wrap on the end. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stretch your first piece over so your wrapped one sits in the middle, and then pull onto 3 sets of double dark blue bands. Still trying to keep this in order here. So 2nd set and 3rd set. We're almost ready to loop the body up. Come back to your loom and turn it around so that the far side is facing you. Attach the bands from your hook onto the 3rd peg from the bottom. Grab a piece of the next chain to put over the next peg down, and bring that bottom chain, or that next chain, onto the bottommost peg on the side. Now for the sake of ease, I'm going to start by looping up in the middle. I'm going to loop up until I reach the 2nd peg from the top. You want to take your hook, point the open part up away from you towards the top of the loom, catch your bottom 2, bring them onto the next peg, release. Continue up the same way. There's nothing blocking you here. Just watch that you're not grabbing your triangle band as you go. We're going for the ones that are coming down straight here, as you would with a chain, like a direct chain here. Okay, go back to the bottom on the side closest to you. We want to find the 2 bands that are coming towards the bottom of that peg. They're right at the base of that peg. They're coming from the peg above. Push back all of the bands on top and grab those 2. Oops. We're going to bring them up through, over, and onto the next peg. Once more, go for the 2 bands that are sitting on the bottom of that peg. So we push back everything above, take those 2, bring them forward. Push back your holding band, get your bottom 2, bring them forward. We'll do this until we get to the arm. You want to grab both of your bands on each of these sets here. And when you get to the arm, you can reach inside for the bottom 2 white bands. Those are the only white bands under there. And you're going to bring them up to the 2nd center peg. If you find your loom is getting a little tight, you can release some of the bands on the lower side that you've already looped. That will keep some of the tension off. We're going to loop up on the opposite side. Once more, you'll be looking for those bottommost pegs. Bottommost bands. I'm always saying pegs instead of bands and bands instead of pegs. Not sure why. Oops, this one doesn't want to stay on. go. And we're looping straight up to the arm again, pushing back holding bands as you meet them. I'll just mention kind of as a side note here, apropos to not much, I based much of this pattern off of my Shrek Merlin design. So that's where the beard and the hat are coming from, as well as the face. The mustache is a little bit different though. We're going to go to the second peg from the top, grab the two bottommost white bands and bring them up to the top. Keep hold of the bands on your top center peg, hook, finger, C-clip, and we're going to pop the rest of this off. Of course the cloak, the body is different from my Merlin, but yeah, I worked off of there for this design. And that's a good technique, sort of, a good trick you can use if you are starting to design your own characters, is to build off characters that you've done or that you've seen and adapt the patterns by changing up your colors or making parts a little longer or shorter. I know in the past I've been asked about principles of design, and that's one of the things, because it's really hard to start from scratch every time. So you've got to use some of the tricks you've already found effective. Put your hook through this bands on the top center peg and you can pull them off the loom. Give everything a stretch. Decide if there's one side you prefer for your front, and that's the way we're going to keep them facing. I'm just going to put this onto a separate hook for now, and we will make the beard next. Okay, so we're coming back to the loom, and we're using double white bands. We're going to start at the top peg on the side closest to you, put down 2 bands, and we're going to have a total of 5 sets of double white bands coming down on either side. So this will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, in the center we're going to start at the second peg down and come down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times with double bands. Now we're going to take 2 white bands and come from your 6th peg down on the side to your 8th peg down in the center. I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. Repeat it on the opposite side. And then we're going to come down with double white bands from the 8th peg to the 9th peg in the center, and one more time down in the middle. Cap it off with the holding band, single, put it over, hold, twist 1, 2, 3 times. If you want it super pointy, you can give it some extra twists, but that ought to do it. And we're gonna get some holding bands going here. I'll be doubling over all of my holding bands, so single white, twist, put it back over itself. I'm gonna bring that across my 6 pegs down on either side, over my 6th peg down in the middle, and over my 7th peg down in the middle. So it's going to make a diamond right above where it joins down on the side. Our next doubled over holding band is going to be an upright triangle going across your 5th pegs down. And we're going to do that 2 more times above. 1, 2. And I'll be doing 1 more here just to secure the kind of top section. And this will go across the 2nd pegs down on either side and the 3rd peg down in the middle. So it goes in the opposite direction from where our other holding bands were. We're ready to loop this up. Okay. Go down to the bottom of our layout here. Get underneath your cap band, and we're going to go for the bottom 2 white. Loop those forward up once and loop up again. Find your top 2 bands underneath, and they're going to go up to the right 6th, and the next 2 are going to go to the to the left 6th, and then the last 2 are going straight up onto your center 7th peg. I'm going to loop up the center the rest of the way. From here the order doesn't matter so much. We're going to be looping each row up until we have run out of bands to loop here. So there we go, in the center. Loop up on either side, push back everything but the bottom 2 and bring them forward, forward to the top. One more. Opposite side. Now if you feel this is too long, you can always, or you could have always taken off a set from the beard, but I think this is a really appropriate length myself. You're going to take your, well, first we're going to loosen up a little bit from the bottom here, otherwise this is going to pop everywhere. And then we'll be taking this off in just a minute, but in a special way, so hold on. Now, because this is an extension, we are going to be putting it on in a particular manner, so we have to take it off a special way. To do that, you take your hook, put it through top to bottom, the bands on the top side peg, top to bottom through the ones on the center, top to the bottom through the ones on the left. Make sure you get them all. Then you can remove it from the loom. Trying to check. Okay, it looks like my first beard curled up naturally. This one we might have to help the curl along, but we'll do that when we get to it. I'm going to put the hook down, come back to the loom, and we're going to start on the face. So next part is going to look a lot like what we did in reverse. This will be for our hat. 2 white bands, top centers to 2nd center, repeat again. 2nd center to 3rd center. And then let me do a count for you here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 sets of double white bands down the middle. So it will be a total of 8 sets of double white bands when we're all done here. Again, if you feel this is too long, you can make it a couple shorter, 1 or 2 shorter. So this should take you to your 9th peg down in the middle. And we're going to come from the 3rd peg down in the center to your 4th peg down on the side. Repeat it for the opposite side. And on either side, we're going to come down, should be about 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Double white band starting at the 4th peg down. 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it will end just below where our middle row ended. We're going to do the same on the far side. And then we're switching to skin tone. We'll come down 3 times in the middle with double skin tone and 2 times on either side with double skin tone bands. 3 sets. And 2 sets of double bands on either side. Two skin tone bands coming from the 3rd peg from the bottom on the side to the 2nd peg from the bottom on the center, and repeat on the opposite side. We're going to use doubled over skin tone holding bands. You can bring that across the 3rd peg from the bottom on each of the rows. Repeat on the 2 sets above with skin tone. Oops. Although actually the 3rd one up can be white if that's your preference. The rest of these are going to be doubled over white holding bands. So continue up making triangles. I've just switched to white here. We're going to do this another 3 times. And then the last one will be one of those diamond ones like we did before. So this one will go across your 4th pegs down and across your 5th peg down in the center. From here we can put our body on, and we're going to make the eyes. Body goes onto the 2nd peg from the bottom in the middle. Transfer the bands from your hook onto there, body face up. And for the eyes, I'll show you quickly how to do this with the beads first, and then I'll demonstrate quickly with the bands. Take a piece of floss or thin wire if your beads have a small hole in them. You're going to run it through both of the beads. I already have my eyes drawn on from another time. Just reusing these ones. They work. They're still good. Okay. Once that's through, you can grab a skin tone band. One that isn't too stretched out. Put your floss through. Bring it back over the bands. They're so wiggly today. And back through the beads. Pull until the band is through, and we're going to put this onto the 4th pegs from the bottom on either side. I think this is about your 11th pegs down, something like that. Just going to double check that. Okay, we're good. I'm not going to worry too much about having the eye color show up yet. Like I said, you'll probably want to draw that in when you're done everything. I just have the pupils drawn on already. What I'm doing right now, I'm trying to separate the eyes a little bit so that they're sitting on either side of the center pegs. Okay, so we are ready to start looping up, and then we can put on our beard. I'm going to have to break in a minute just to recharge my camera battery here. Oh, and we've got our beard to do and our nose to do as well. Maybe we'll do that next. Okay, so nose is single skin tone band, wrap 1, 2, 3 times. Oh, I'm so out of order here. Let me show you the eyes first. If you're doing eyes with bands, take a single black, wrap 1, 2, 3 times. Second black, wrap 1, 2, 3. Transfer onto a skin tone. And same deal, if you've got beads with a larger hole, you can put them on your hook, transfer them that way. Apply them to the loom the same way we did. For our nose, single skin tone, wrap 3 times, pulled onto 3 doubled over singles. There's 1, 2, and 3. We're going to put this onto a single skin tone band and stretch it across from your third peg from the bottom of the loom to the 3rd peg from the bottom of the loom. Bring it up over the center, and I'll be right back. Okay, let's continue. For the little mustache, we're going to take 2 white bands, wrap them 1, 2, 3, or 4 times onto the hook. Pull that onto a doubled over single white band. Take another white, pull your mustache on top, and we're going to put this onto the same pegs that are holding the nose. So that's your third peg from the bottom on one side to the third peg from the bottom on the other. Okay, we are almost ready to loop up here. I forgot something. I'm gonna get you to take off your holding band that's on the 5th pegs up. Pull off your skin tones from those pegs for a second, and we're gonna take 2 white bands, come down from that 5th peg from the bottom on the center to the 5th peg from the bottom on the side, repeat to the other side. This is especially important for our eyebrows if you were gonna do eyebrows with me. We're gonna bring those skin tone back into place. And I'm gonna replace that holding band. Just do that really quick while I remember here. Okay. I'm gonna check my pattern, but I believe we're good to continue from here. Okay, let's get under the neck piece. And you're gonna find the top 2 skin tones and loop them up to the right. The next 2 are gonna be going to the left if you've done things in the same order as I have here. The last 2 are gonna be going upwards. You have the option of bringing it over the mustache or lifting the mustache and pulling it under. It should be fine to go on top though. Now we're going to take the beard, and there are 12 loops on your hook. We're going to put the first 4 onto the 3rd peg from the bottom on the side closest to you. The next 4 will go to the 3rd peg from the bottom in the center, and the last 4 will go onto the 3rd peg from the bottom on the opposite side. And as I lay my 4 down each time, I'm gonna loom up once. When I'm just telling you this in advance, I'll do my best to let you see it all, but so you know what I'm doing. When I loop up from under the nose, I'm gonna try to lift the nose first. So I'll walk you through this. The first 4 bands are gonna come off of the hook onto that side peg. I'm going to reach inside, get the bottom 2 skin tone and bring them up and forward. And that secures that in place. My next 4 are going to go to that center peg. And I'm just going to hold it here for a minute. Reach through for the bottom skin tone. Now I'm going to put my nose piece over, and then I'm going to replace these onto the next peg between the eyes. If you're having a terrible time, just leave the nose where it is. Don't worry about it. You can always pop it through. This will keep it a little better centered though, I feel. Last 4, last side is going to go onto the opposite side. I'm pressing down, reaching and getting the bottom 2 and looping them forward. And we can loop up again on each row. One more time. Push back the band with the eyes, so you don't want to loop those off. The center and on the opposite side. Now, just before we go further, I'm going to tell you we'll be getting these white bands that we just laid on. But you have the option if you want to put some little eyebrows. What we'll do is take a single white, wrap it 1, 2, 3 times, 2 or 3. And then when you get your white bands from under that skin tone cap band or holding band, you can slide your wrapped band over and put it on. Now in my original pattern, my eyebrows are on the side. I put them onto this set going up, so you can do that if that's your preference. I'm going to try it in the middle here. If you try it and you absolutely hate the way it looks, you can always just cut it off at the end. Although that's not the ideal, but it's not the end of the world if you decide to put them in and you don't like them. I'm going to put my wrapped one on the opposite side. So I put it on the hook, pulled those white ones out, and now I'm going to loop this to the middle. And we can continue to loop up on either side until we reach that fourth peg from the top where the white stops. Things get kind of easy here for a while. Watch out for the holding bands, they're kind of tight. And then you can loop in from that fourth peg down in the side to the third peg down in the center. I'll do the same thing on the opposite side, starting where the white begins. I'll remind you again, you can always loosen up some of your lower already looped bands if you find things are getting too tight for you. I know when I started doing this, when I started looming, I was working with some kind of crummy looms and found it was the only way to get anything done was to loosen things up as I went along. The same goes if you've got weaker bands. We're going to go back to the center. I think this was our 8th peg down, and we're looping our whites up. No, it's the 9th peg down. And this time you can loop straight to the very, very top. Bottom 2 bands each time. Hold on to the bands on the top center peg, and the rest of your Nilus can be taken off of the loom. So I guess from here we've got his sort of cloak, cape, vest, I'm not sure what to call it, his letter vest to do. A couple of things to sort of tweak when we're getting close to the end, and the letter C will be adding. I'm going to put my hook through the bands on the top center peg. Okay, we'll have a couple of things to adjust, as I said. Don't worry if things aren't looking quite right yet. We've got time. I'm going to take a white, put it on the hook, pull it through the bands that are on the hook, replace the other end, and pull one side over the other to create a slip knot. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold on to this, reach through from the back of the hook towards the center, grab that piece, and just make sure that I'm in camera here. So I've gone through from the back to the front. I'm grabbing my holding band, I'm pulling it through, and then you're going to get that curve that you want. We can do the same for the beard, but we're going to leave it just for the moment and get going on the vest first. I'm going to put this onto a C-clip, put it under a nearby band. This is the back side. Now you can see everything's kind of funny here, so let's adjust this first. Our nose is in the right place. If it's not, you can get it there. Our mustache, you want to press it through using your fingers or your hook. Just going to pull till it kind of pops out. Adjust it towards the center. And your eyes, you want to press them through. You can draw on pupils at any time now. As I said, I have mine drawn on already, just need to adjust it to the right angle. Which is always a little harder than it looks like it should be. Okay, here we go. Now let's start on this piece here. Okay, we're going back to the loom. You know, I like the way I'm so distractible. I like the way the eyebrows came out here. Okay, so back to the loom. We're starting with light blue, double bands, top center to the top right, top center to the top left, and in the middle, we're gonna come down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times on the center row, double blue bands. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. On either side, we're going to do the same thing on each of the side rows. Start at the top, come down with double bands 10 times. Okay, other side. This is 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, oh, that was 10. Let's put our holding bands, single crossover bands, triangles, light blue. Cross your second pegs down, repeat for every set below until we reach the bottom. And for the last set, we're going to use double bands. So take 2 together, bring them across, stretch it up over the center peg there. This is our third peg from the bottom of the loom. Side extensions for the white outline. Coming back to white, we're going to take a single white band, wrap it 1, 2, 3 times. You might find 2 is easier, but 3 should be okay. And we're pulling this onto 10 sets of double white bands. So make a long chain basically. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Transfer the bands from your hook onto the top side peg. And what we're going to do is stretch the chain down to the bottom of where we started this here. But first I'm going to put my hook into the cat band, that first wrapped band at the end of the chain. We're going to stretch that down and transfer those onto the third peg from the bottom on that side. And then we're going to take one piece out of each chain, try and get it all from the inside bottom if you can, and place each set, one from each set onto each of the pegs that has the blue on it. So everything in between here. The reason we try and get them all from the same inner section here is because if we grab from here, then our whole chain's going to turn and it's going to look a little bit messy. And we'll need one of these for the other side, so make another chain, single wrapped 1, 2, 3 times, pulled onto 10 sets of white bands. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, we're going to turn the loom around. Attach this on the opposite side. We're getting so much glare here. Let me turn on another light. So you can get a better picture. Okay, other side. Attach it at the top. Get into that chain. Try and keep it straight. Hook it onto the third peg from the bottom on the same side. And grab a piece out of each chain to put onto the pegs in between. Oh, I only wanted one. There we go. This is almost ready to loop. Kind of excited we're getting near the end here. Things are going pretty smoothly. Just a little more to go. I haven't missed anything by saying that. Okay, let's loop up each of the rows. You're going for the bottom line of light blues on the side and the bottom line of light blues in the middle. We're just going to go straight to the top. Push back everything that's sitting above, which includes your white side extension piece and your blue holding band. And then loom from the top side to your top center. Repeat on the opposite side, and we can also loop up in the middle. You can pick your order as long as everything gets looped to the top. Let me go for the side again there. And from the top side to the top center, and then loop up your middle row to go right to the bottom, loop straight forward. Take a blue band, 2 if you want. Get it ready on your left hand, and your right hand you're going to put your hook through the bands on the top center peg. If you point the open part away from you, it won't catch on your other bands. Grab your securing band, pull it up through, put the other side on, and you'll pull the further side over the closer side and over the end of the hook to create a slip knot. You can pop this off of the loom. Now I'm just going to make a quick suggestion here. If you have a bead or a charm that looks like a moon or is in the shape of a C, you might find it's easier and might even look really nice to affix it directly to the chest of this kind of vesty piece. If not, then stick with me. I'll show you in a minute how to weave in the letter C. It's a little bit tricky. So you can add the letter now or after. I'm going to put this on to my Nilus first. So stretch, pop it over his neck. Stretch again, pop it over his neck. If you're really hardcore about this, you can make a second piece like this and put it over backwards. Don't worry about the tilting head, we can fix that. But let's get our C going here. So what I'm going to do, I'll try my very best to stay in camera here. I'm going to lift up the piece we just made. And you're kind of going to have to feel this out. So I'm going in a little bit to the side of the white edge, taking 2 white bands. I'm going to hold it with my finger, or you can grab a hook. pull it through to the back. Take a single white, pull it through there. Put the other side on, pull one side over the other. Now again, you can put this onto a C-clip or hold on to it. I'll put it on a, I'm going to keep holding on to it. Yeah. Now I'm going to come back to the, okay, we'll put it on a C-clip so you can see better. Coming back to the front, I'm going to go through a little bit higher, a little closer to the center. Take those double bands and pull them back through. So you'll need a little tension. We're going to pull them back to the back. And then what we'll do is we're going to go through on the back, grab that white single band, pull it through the other two. So there we've created our first little curve, and we'll put this back onto a C-clip. Take another 2 white bands, get them ready. Now I'm going to go through sort of keeping symmetrical here on the opposite side, about the same height here. Grab those 2 whites, pull them to the back. I'm going to grab that single white band and, which came up from under the others, pull it through. Put it on a C-clip. Or you can keep holding onto it, which is what I'm going to do in a minute, but that's while we're getting started here. Now I want to reach through where that first piece ended, so I'm going to come back, try and get to the same spot, come through from the back to the front, grab my new piece, pull it back. I'm on the back side, I'm going to get that single white, take it off the C-clip, pull it through the other two. And we keep going like this, and it should get a little tighter. But that's the idea. So I'm going to quickly run through this. It's going to do this really fast. I'm going to go a little lower. Pull my 2 to the back. This is upside down. And once it's in the back, I want to get my single white through it. Then I'll go back to where the previous piece ended. This is, it's like basic sewing stitching. Grab those whites, pull them through. Oops, got part of the body there by accident. So this is the front. I'm grabbing the white, pulling them to the back. And then we're going to pull that white single band through them again. And we can do 2 more pieces like this. So go through in the center where we want our C to end, or our moon, crescent moon to end. Pull those 2 through. Now if you're finding it really hard to move all your pieces around, you can use a different C-clip or a different securing band in the back each time. And then I'll go to where my last piece ended. Go through again, grab those 2, pull them to the back. You might also find it helpful to put a C-clip on the pieces in the front while they're waiting to be placed as well. Need 1 more here. So this is it so far. It's sort of swiveled to the back of his body, but that's okay. Fix that right away. And wherever you want your C to end, grab your 2. I actually do find it easier when I don't have the pieces on the C-clip, but it makes it harder to demonstrate, if that makes sense. I'm going to pull that single through to secure it. And I'm going to go back to the front, put my hook through where that last piece ended, pull those 2 back through to the back, put it on the C-clip, sorry, on the single white, and then we can grab any loose bands, secure them a little bit better. You can put it on a C-clip when you're ready. The other thing you can do, I'm going to grab this really loose band here. See if I can't get that to fit a little more nicely. I was going to say the other thing you can do is take that band you're securing this with, or even another band, go to the back of the body, reach through, grab that loose band and pull it through the back. And then when you put it on your C-clip, you'll be holding this whole piece in place as well. I'm afraid some of my leather is still a little bit loose. You could continue to adjust those as needed. Pull that through to the back as well. There we go. For the beard and the head, it looks like it has twisted a little. If you're not getting enough of a curve, you can reach through, grab the top, like the end of the beard, pull it to the back, and put a C-clip on. What we can also do is go through the center of the back, through the next piece, through the beard. You can grab a piece of the beard or just a new band and pull it back through. So I'm going to try and grab a piece of the beard, pull it to the back, put this onto my C-clip or add a new C-clip, and that will keep the head from wobbling. It will keep everything steady and might even help to curve your beard some more. So give everything a stretch. I'm really excited we got through that. That was a long one. There, you've got your Nilus the Sandman. He's got a nice little curve to him. And I hope you'll share with me how yours turned out. And I thank you for watching.